Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Marriage. Today we are going to be talking about areas of marriage, some areas of marriage. This is not an exclusive list, the list that you're seeing right now. We put this together to be able to talk about some areas that we have identified. And you can have some areas that you have identified in your own marriage that's not even on this list. So yeah, you can do that as well. And what we are doing here today is we're going to look at how satisfied we are with each of these areas of marriage, and we're going to score ourselves on the scale of 0 to 10. How satisfied are you? So to do that with me today is my lovely husband, Yinka. Welcome to the
Thank you.
discussion today. And we have our friends, Sam Babatunde and Kofu Babatunde. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Welcome. A pleasure.
It's so good to be here again and to just be able to discuss this. So what we have done that you are not aware of, we did this before the discussion starts. We have scored ourselves on a scale of 0 to 10, and we're not going to share with you everything that we scored, but we're going to, and if you want us to share, yeah, we can do that. You can send us a note or a comment, and yeah, we will share. Actually, we're going to be sharing at some point. Okay, so we're going to look at our top 3 in the area of importance. So what are your top 3? These areas, how important are these to you, and why did you pick the 3 areas? So who wants to start? Yinka?
Well, my 3 areas are communication, extended family, and children and parenting.
All right. Okay. So would you like to share something and just tell us why you picked each
I
one?
picked communication because communication is the number one thing, because lots of other areas can be worked out if the communication is effective. What I've noticed in communication sometimes is that one person doesn't ask clarifying questions. One person assumes the person knows something already, and if that can be worked out, and the fact that we don't have to think the same way, but when we explain to each other what's going on, you may bring me to you and I may bring you to me, because we are all teachers and we are all students at the end of the day. So that's why I
Okay.
took
So communication actually is a drawing force. If it's good communication,
Yes.
it draws us to each other, not pulling away from each other.
That's right.
Okay. Would you like to do the next one, please? Why you picked?
Or why I picked extended family. Okay, so I picked extended family. I wish it was just family and the world family, really, because I believe that the reason God gave us each other is actually to learn to live with the extended world, right? Because my child is not just my child. When I see somebody else's child out there, I should have the same feelings or love that I have for my child, for that person.
Okay.
Also, my wife is my wife, but she made me to respect every other woman in my life, right? In a certain way. So that's why I picked that.
Okay. So extended family is important to you, and your number 10.
My number 10 is children and grandchildren, partly
And
because
parenting.
Because parenting children, and if couples don't know how to communicate very well, they may misunderstand their children and be on opposite side of the fence. Partly because children will do what children do, and I have noticed that for some families, one level of discontent, and so that's why I picked that. And also because as we grow older in our marriage and grandchildren come up, hopefully we are supposed to pass on to them things that will be lasting for them, and not really our own bad habits, because hopefully after so many years you'll have corrected the bad habits and you'll be able to pass on to the others.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So children and parenting is important in a marriage. It's an area of marriage that's very important, because then we want to make sure that our children are raised properly, they are brought up properly, and hopefully we do a good job, right, in bringing them up. So it's a good area. Okay.
I think we have a lot of alignments here. My brother Inka picked 1 and 7. That is communication and extended family, which I also have on my own.
Oh, okay.
The reason for picking communication, just like my brother said to me, is like a breach of trust. And it breaches almost everything on the table right now, or concerning marriage. Because where there's good communication, I think the marriage is dead on arrival. Even if you are born, is this dumb or deaf? That is, you cannot speak. There must still be a way of communicating, whether using braille or using
good
communication.
communication.
So inability to speak is not the issue in question, but desire or interest to communicate. So that's very, very key. Otherwise, all the things will just break down. Second one is, did you say in order of importance or just any 3?
Any 3.
Any 3. Okay, so I like my brother on extended family.
Extended family, yes.
Because no one, except you are Elijah, who just showed up from where we don't know where he came from. No one is an island of his own. Or just came from the
nobody
thing,
dropped.
Just showed up.
You have family.
So we all came from somewhere. And that often than not is what we call the extended family. That has a lot of bearing on who you are today, or where you're going to, in terms of your personal decisions. As we say, it's not what happens to you that matters, but your own reaction to it. So what comes from extended family has already come. So are you reacting to it positively or negatively? So that's why it's important to me.
Wow.
And you now have a core family you are trying to develop, and you have 2 extended families. That's 3 husbands on the table. So it's very, very important. Last but not the least for me is what the accountants will call the bottom line. And that's
the
number 4.
Money.
The real cocoa, that's the financial management. Because finance is a very dual-edged subject.
It is.
The Bible tells us in one breath, money answereth all things. Another breath is warns you, the love of money is the root of evil. So what is he calling for out there? Wisdom. And how you manage it. We talk about financial management. How do you agree on generation of the finance itself? How do you now manage what you generate? How do you manage the outcome of it?
Right.
Is it giving you some stress, some positive or negative balance sheet, you know? Those are very, very correct, because you can have some sleepless nights if your account doesn't balance.
That's right. Wow, those are good. All right, thank you. Go for it.
Yeah, I chose communication with number 1. And then number 2 was the financial management.
Oh.
And then the third one was number 12, the golden years.
Are you watching
Wow.
my notes?
Oh, so you actually go with your husband? That's good.
Yeah, I think I'm just fine. Yes. Well, we talked about communication, very important, because without communication, we can't even achieve any of this other, stuff on this list. So that's so important to me, to be able to talk and talk deeply. Not just information, not personal information. I want to be able to talk emotionally, to go down deep in the emotions, what is going on, their feelings, sharing feelings and understand each other. So that's why it's so important to me. The financial management, yes, money answers all things. That's what the Bible tells us. So we want to be sure that money is there because money is important. Yeah. It's good to have. I mean, it gives you peace of mind, at least, you know, to a very large extent. So that is very important to me, how we use that money, how we agree in terms of budgeting and all that. And then the final one, number 12, the golden years, because time will come where we will not have that much energy or time to work as we used to. So planning towards that is very important to me, so that when we get to those golden years, we can be at peace, we can rest, and you know, yes, and even be able to leave something for our children. The Bible says that a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children, his children to whatever generation. So that is very important to me as well. That's what's important. Yeah.
Wow. It's good we're talking about golden years because we are almost getting there. And there are some of you out there who have been married for 30, 40, 50 years and you're still wondering, who have I married? or you're saying, oh wow, it's been a great marriage, whatever. I mean, like, you know, we're still, everybody has different experience in these areas. So the thing about that too is that agreeing on, okay, how are we going to retire? What year are we going to retire? Do you have your will? Do you have trust, estates, and what will your living accommodation be when you're older? What kind of support are you going to be giving your community? Because as we grow older, it's important to be able to think about those things and think about what I'm giving back in my old age, because that will help a lot to. Sure. Yeah, to actually transition and to have that satisfaction that, okay, I'm not just old and waiting to die, but I'm older and wiser and I'm giving back to my community. So that's great. So now, for me, I didn't pick communication. It's important, like everybody said. Communication is very important, is very key to everything else and all that. I think that for me it's just because I've been a counselor for a while and I'm just thinking, okay, yes, we talk about communication quite a bit, but then again, where did you learn your communication style? How did you learn it over your childhood? So maybe we need to deal with that first. Yeah. Your past and, you know, all those things. So anyway, so that's just the reason I didn't pick communication, just so you know. So the most important 3 are leisure activity. It's just because I like to have fun. Wow. I like to be out there, you know, just smell the coffee, smell the roses, go for a walk, you know, sit at the beach and watch the waves and, you know, those kinds of things. So, yeah, and it's true, we need to balance the activities that we do together and apart. And so I like to have some leisure time, even to sit down in my sitting room and put my feet up. Or run a bath and just sit there and listen to music, you know, those kinds of things. Leisure activities don't have to be going to Hawaii, which I love to go anyway. Hawaii is my best place to be when it comes to when you take vacations. But anyway.
Brother, please take note.
Yes, please take note. If I have my way, I'll be there every year or twice a year. Yeah. It's just beautiful out there.
I hope your husband is not stopping you from having your way every year.
No, it's because I have to work.
Oh, I see, I see, I
you
see.
know, do other things.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's
no. You're good with that. I know you like to travel the world and see everywhere, but just take me to Hawaii, drop me there,
on your way.
and on your way to seeing the
Japan.
whole world, I'll be good. You can come back, or I'll meet you wherever you go. Anyway, so that's leisure activities. My second one is friends and friendships. Friendship, even within the marriage, for me is important, and it's good to have a husband as a friend. At the same time, it's good to have other friends out there, because I want to be with people, you know, and I want to spend time with people, with friends who we have, yes, we have something in common. I want to be like, you know, okay, call a friend and say, are you home? I'm coming, you know, that kind of thing. Although it doesn't work in this part of the world. but it's something that I've done quite a bit, you know, in back in Nigeria when we were there, and it's just like, okay, I'm walking past your house, are you home? You know, that kind of thing. I just love it. I used to have friends where we would visit each other, and then she would walk me to my house, we have a chat there, and then I'll walk her back to her house, and then we could do that like 3 or 4 times before we say, okay, let's go home. So we have to get to the middle of the road somewhere and say, okay, no. I think it was just something fun for me.
Over here, I'm sure you will have seen. At
the time, yeah. So yeah. Friends and friendships, very important.
That's good.
The last one for me, and not the least by no means, is spiritual beliefs. And when we are connected spiritually, it's just quite amazing thing for me to have that, and to be able to pray together the same way, or to talk about the Bible the same, you know, like it's not like one is that and the other one is this, and then you're like, where do we meet? You know, that kind of thing. So those are my 3. Yeah. Awesome. So what are your 3? As you're watching us, think about your top 3 areas of marriage when it comes to importance to you. And then you can discuss that with your spouse and let them know that these are the most important things for you, and then hopefully they can do something about it to help you have that satisfaction growing. All right. Okay. So the next thing we want to talk about is you know how you score yourself 0 to 10, you have your score, and some of your scores are like 2 maybe, or 7. So what do you do? What would you do to make your number higher number? What could you do to make it higher? So we're going to look at what we scored ourselves here, and if you do like to share any of your numbers that are kind of low. I mean, mine, I have some 10 there, which of course, what am I saying? That there's no room for improvement? There has to be room for improvement.
Yeah.
Like my 10 is, one of my 10s is, guess what? Sexuality and affection. Yeah, don't ask me why. No, you can actually. But
I think we should discuss this from the background, the fact that I think they say the only thing that is constant in life is what? It's change. And marriage has seasons, has cycles.
Yeah.
So I'm sure all these figures we're talking about right now, these rankings, they will change another cycle right now.
Right.
Yeah.
The cycles can be as close as 2 weeks or as far as 2 years.
Yeah.
But definitely they do change. And when they change, you start saying, okay. So I agree with you, there's always room for improvement.
Room for improvement.
So even though you might score yourself 10 right now,
10.
those are the listeners,
But
don't think that this one's with 10, they've reached the
Done.
bar.
The bar.
Take yourself back. Just take this as a balance sheet. Next time, come back and
I think one of the reasons for that is that because we are not, even though we are the same, but we're not every time the same. That's why I find that there is no perfect situation or human being, because today I don't have a headache. Tomorrow I may have a headache, and that changes the picture. One day the traffic may be fine, but one day I'm rushing, and that changes the picture too. One day I may have a little pain in my finger, and that So that's
life
why
is dynamic.
Yes, very dynamic, and that's why communication is important, because if I didn't do something today that I did yesterday, you need to know why, because it will be that something happening, right? And you did it yesterday, you did it now, and then it becomes a problem, right?
Right. Okay, I'm going to set us off on that. This next round of our conversation is to pick one that is low, and what could you do to make it a higher number? So I'm going to pick one of my low ones, which is conflict resolution. It could be better. And what can I do to make it better? I think that even we've been married now 6 years, and I still sometimes find it difficult to express myself, to say exactly what I want or what is happening to me. And so I think that at this point, to make it a higher number, I need to be able to express myself. Somehow, it just happens. Like I kind of hold back thinking, what will I say that will trigger something, or that will ruffle the nest, or that would cause some more conflict, or how can I say it? So I'm always watching, how am I going to say it? How am I, so it's almost like I just need to be able to trust him with my truth about what is really happening and what I really want. So that's one of the areas for me that I need to continue to work on. So that's that. Anyone can jump in?
Yeah, I think I would say the golden years for me, that's number 12. It's one of the areas that I scored low. Just like you said, we're approaching that time now. And, there's some, little struggles here and there in that area. So, but I know that it's a work in progress. You can pick up from any point in time. That's what I've realized. So it's not the end of the world. If the golden years are not looking golden enough, if I can put it that way, it can be worked on. We just sit back again and reassess, the whole everything about it. I would say that the area of will at first, I thought that from where we come from, you don't write a will until you are 80. If you reach 80. So which means that before you are 80, or before the time you write your will, you are done. But that's not the essence. So, but coming to this part of the world where, if I was shocked that at the age of 20, you should have a will, I said, what for? Are you dying tomorrow or something? So that area I would say that we need to work on our will a little bit more, update it, I would say. So, thank goodness that we even managed to do it. I didn't even know how we got convinced to do so, knowing our background. So, and then we thinking about, living in this part of the world again. When you talk about retirement, it's a lot more than what it is in Nigeria. You have to think about how you're going to live, in that retirement, after retirement, because you don't plan for it, you don't get it. And things could happen. There could be sickness, there could be illness or whatever. So I was shocked to know that, you could even end up in maybe an assisted accommodation and all that. We need to plan towards it as well. You need to put some money aside, to be able to do that living. While we trust God, we believe God, we love God, we have faith that will to be well with us. I want to be like my grandfather, who actually walked to his death at 110. He walked to the village where he wanted to die. at the 110.
And he sat down.
And then he stayed there for the
transitioned.
weekend, I'm telling you, and then he took ill. And they planned that, oh, we'll come and pick you up on Monday, Papa, so that we can give you proper care. In fact, they wanted to take him that day. He said, no, come on Monday. And Monday they came, so they took his corpse because he died at that time. So yeah, so that's why I chose that golden years to plan better, to look into it again, and trust God for the best.
Wow,
that's
to happen.
awesome.
Yeah. You know, that part of it is the living accommodation that bothers me a little bit because when you're older, I mean, you can't do as much. Maybe you won't be able to live in your home. Maybe you have to go live somewhere where you need an assistant and all that
support.
and that's the tough one. We need to talk about these things. We need to really put some plan in place.
Yes, yeah. Really. I think that's the key. So communication comes in again.
Yeah.
Because if you're afraid to talk about will because you think that it means that they're sending you to your early grave, then you're in trouble, right? So, but communicate about it. Let's talk about our will, our trust and estates. My uncle said, before he died, he said, I want to share all I have now, so I see how the children are going to be using them, which is very unlike, where we come from.
Africa.
And that was exactly what he did.
Wow.
He shared out everything and gave it to the children and saw them living, using those things.
That's amazing.
And that is faith.
That is a good one. That's
And
a
he
good
died
one,
at
actually.
he died at 86. I think he died at the age of 86. So before then, like about 10 years before that time, he had shared out everything he had, and the children had taken over. So that was good planning.
I like that.
That's smart. Yeah.
Maybe we should
Smart plan.
Well, I have that in mind.
Anyway, bottom line of communication, of golden age, is money. Whether you're going to be in assisted home, you're going to assist yourself.
That's right.
You're going to share anything or not share anything, it's all boiled down to money.
Yeah.
That's right.
So money, and then from statistics, but not only in North America, I think it's fairly
Everywhere.
global. We have what we call the 5 notable challenges in marriage. And guess what? Money is number 1. If you do have a good closure agreement on how to get rid of this evil or this item, it can become a real thorn in the flesh. So that's why, and then from my encounter with people, I think it's quite a central issue. But it is
So how can you make your number higher? Did you pick it?
Yes, it's planning. A failure to plan is a plan to fail. And guess what? Failing should not be taken like as if that's the end of life.
It's not a death sentence.
It's not a sentence. It doesn't make you hopeless. It just teaches you to pick up your pieces and recoup. As long as you wake up every morning and you still have your head upon your neck and you can breathe, that means God is giving you a chance to redo
plan.
what was done wrongly before. And you may be surprised about the positive turnaround when you really address this issue and get going with
Important.
it. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Yeah, that's good.
If I may say something again about this financial management, for most of us Christians, we think that, giving, because you say give and it shall be given unto you. Giving is not an investment. It's the principle of God to give and then you'll be given to, praise God, not necessarily the person you give to, maybe somebody else. But it's also very important to put money aside for the future. It's not just about giving. Because you would think that, I've done a lot of charity, I'm giving, why am I in this financial mess? We will continue to be in financial mess until we take money, until we plan the money, whatever, even if you have excess, you can't just give to charity and give to everybody.
Everyone.
You have to give to yourself. And how do you give to yourself? You invest, you save, and then you still give to people who are in need. Right. So that's so very important in financial management.
Three things you can do with money. You can either spend it, invest it, or give it out as charity.
Well, I think
so it must be balanced.
I think there's a fourth part. The fourth part is you can invest and also give some.
You can give, save, and
give.
Yeah, but
spend.
But you have to do a balance.
Spend.
Yes, it has to be balanced.
Give.
Yes.
No.
So spend, invest, or give. But you need to do a draw. You need to draw a balancing on
Yeah.
And giving really, it's even though it
Very
appears
balanced.
negative, it depends on the reason for
cause.
giving. If it's to God, I'm sure you will get your.
Yes.
You know,
of
because
course.
since you have two shirts, give one away. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I don't do that.
But there has to be a balance.
There has to
And
be.
that's why Jesus said, I believe, that you should be as wise as serpent, but as gentle as dove.
Because when you're giving, you have to think of your own retirement, like we're talking about. Trust in God.
Bring everything onto the table. Thank God for spreadsheets. Put on spreadsheet, you will see your balance sheet.
Where the money is going. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Your score, one of your low scores, and how can you bump it up?
Well, I took communication partly because there are times when I don't want to talk too much, so I kind of keep quiet, so I guess that can be improved. Yeah.
Okay, so we have that in common.
So if two people are quiet and not talking.
God Almighty, have mercy. Okay. So the same thing, you can look at yours, look at your score, see how you can bump it up to a higher number. What can you do? It has to have a specific thing you can do, be very intentional about doing them. And then also your spouse need to, okay, how can I help to make this number higher for you? Yeah. So that would be great. So the last thing,
next to partner, you can also seek help.
Seek help, yes. Financial help, communication help, conflict resolution help, support. All of that. Yeah, they're very key, very important to not shy away from getting help.
Yeah.
So finally, we all have certain relationship with couples that we either mentor or we counsel. Which one of this, on this list, would you say that you find more problematic with most couples? Which one would you say? Is it the communication? Because it seems that to be the common thread.
I want money.
Money?
Because even when that one goes, all the communication resumes immediately. Hey, how come this account is pretty like that? Then you start talking.
Yeah, it's true.
This account went sour. Oh boy.
It's kind of a good communication
trigger. Yeah. And when you talk about money, it's either the absence or even too much of it sometimes. Yeah. So how do we use this money? Or not being transparent, or lying, and all that. So those are areas. That's one of the major areas. For example, I know a lot of couples will come and say that he's been sending or she's been sending money to her relations and I don't know about it. Or it may even be a common account. They have a joint account. And then suddenly they just see this huge amount of money come out of the account and they wonder, where did it go to? We didn't buy anything in the house. And then they say, yes, my uncle or my sister needed money and I just, quickly. So those are the things. And that makes, it just is a pressure, is a strain on the couple. And so the other grieving couple will cry out or react in different ways. So we've had situations like that where we have to tell them that let's sit at the table and look at the budget properly. Let's see all the inflows and the outflows. Then let's even see how we can give some, give each other spending money. If you're putting your money together that, okay, this is how much you have for the month, this is how much you have for the month. You can do whatever you want with it. It's your business. If you like, spend it in one day. If you like, spread it over the month. That's yours.
So that's one problematic area.
Yes, very.
For me, the area that I find problematic is relationship roles, and that's just because a lot of people have made that decision, whether it's societal issues or cultural issues or whatever, or even with family issues or extended family or whatever, those decisions have been made that, okay, the woman's place is in the kitchen. We've heard that so much. In those days, I don't know if they're doing it now, and there's still that notion that, yeah, you are my wife, so you should be cooking everything and washing every dish and doing the laundry and all of that. And then when back in the day we had house helps, and house helps are good at what they do. They help with all those house chores and stuff like that. So we didn't feel it then. So, but when there are no house helps, guess what? Let's share in this thing. Let's see where we can, get into everything together, and not just like, okay, you're helping me because you're cooking or you're doing the dishes. It's not help. It's
we're in it together.
Yeah, yes, it's a team thing. We're working as a team to have a good relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else you want to add?
Oh yeah, well,
to
communication is the
yours?
bedrock of it. So
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
communication and understanding, because sometimes you can communicate and the person really doesn't want to
Yeah.
hear.
The topic is loaded.
Healthy communication.
The topic is loaded, so underneath it is
Effective.
understand how to make it effective.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think our time is spent right now, unless
Okay.
there's anything that is stirring in anyone. Any last words that you just want to throw in?
Okay, like extended family, for example, is another very, very strong issue, because a spouse just feels so uncomfortable that why am I not the first point of call? Why do you have to call your mom or your dad or your sister or something? And so that's a huge problem. And what we've always, told people is that, you have to build a boundary around your marriage. Yeah. There must be a boundary, and that boundary, because it's a new nucleus. It's hard to do. You have to cut off, and I put that in quotes. I'll explain. The extended family, and your family is the core family at this point. So whatever you want to do has to be done within. There must be mutual agreement. If you want to discuss, you must always have a united front before, around your family members. Do we cut off our other family members? No. The roles have changed. They have now become, in a very, very strong advisory role, and you have to keep it as such. And when you say advisory role, both of you must be agreeable to it all. Yeah. So that area has always been a big, big issue. That he doesn't tell me anything. He tells every other person except me.
Yeah, the last to know.
Yeah, the last to know. He would even report me. He has spoiled me before his people.
Yeah.
Or her people. That's the kind of things we hear. Yeah.
I think the only advisory role should be within the couple, and the other people, mostly if they can't sort it out, then they can agree to do something else. Including counseling, yes, if you agree, but not somebody, not having discussed it with your spouse, but you're discussing it with the whole world. No. You got to discuss it with your spouse. It's like Jesus said that you go to the person first. Okay. If that fails, that you take it out to somebody else, right? Hopefully, the idea of this program is that people will come to respect and appreciate each other's purpose, that they will try to solve their problems internally, unless there's something else, then
I think we are treading on the edge of a very important topic.
Yes.
Another day.
Otherwise, we'll be here.
Conflict resolution and the subsequent abuse that follows it.
That's right.
So I think we're going to for next time.
Yeah.
But it's very important, as you said, both of you said, guys should learn, couples should learn how to work things together and minimize or avoid conflicts, which often result into abusive relationships or situations.
Oh, thank you. You just kind of rounded up for us there.
Take a break.
Well. On that note, I think we have exhausted this list, and of course, look at your list at some point. During one of our times together, we will talk more about this and see where you are at with your numbers. How have you worked on each of this area of life? The ones we have and the ones you will add to it, that how have you managed to improve or to keep on improving on these areas of marriage. Right. We are so glad to have you, and we hope you will come back again. Thank you, Sam Kapoor. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We will see you all again next time. Bye for now.